Hey everyone, Casey here. Having a great day so far. Really looking forward to it. I'm actually just getting ready to start with a trade on this EUR or USD. You can see that yesterday was a kind of a flat day. It went up and went down, and today we look at a daily chart. It's trying to break out, no real direction, which could be a bad thing. But right now we're getting some momentum. So I'm going to go ahead and take the trade. You can see that it broke above here on a 1 minute chart. So I'm going to take this. And we like to do two positions. I'm going to do one and then two trades here. And the first one's going to be a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio. And let's see here. So one's going to be a 1-to-1, which is right there. And then the second one, I'm going to try to let it run for more distance. Now you can see it is a counter trend here on a 1 minute time frame, but on the 15, we have a nice strong support level and it's crossing above this moving average. So this particular trade is based off of that. Off of the break of the moving average. That's what I'm using to take this trade. So hope everybody's having a good day. Remember, you got to start out with the right mindset every single day without fail. It's really important to be able to do that. If you keep your mind right, a lot of things will follow. If you believe that you can have success, if you believe that you're going to do the right thing, if you believe that you're going to be prosperous, if you believe those things, then it really helps your actions, and you become a magnet and you draw those things to you. So just have the right mindset, and we'll go ahead and take a look at some other trades too while I'm watching this. Yesterday I can do a little review of yesterday's trading. So remember, for those of you that were in the challenge, I had this little channel, okay, and I drew this. Well, what ended up happening yesterday was that the price went down, and I ended up taking a short right here because of a break on a 1 minute chart, and it went down a few pips, and I got a small piece of a trade here. But then when it went to the upside, I noticed a very strong reversal and a break right here. So I actually took a very small long position as well with a target of the top of these moving averages, and I ended up getting that about 35 pips. So that ended up being a nice little reversal. And then last night, which I was not trading last night, we had a nice break below this moving average, and now it's been continuing lower ever since. We look at the Australian USD. We talked yesterday about catching it on a break of a below the moving average. Well, it happened, but again, it was not the time frame that I was trading, so I didn't quite get that one. But again, it would have been a nice setup. So that's something that we want to look at, especially when you got a trend. When it's going sideways, then it's not quite as powerful. Right here, you can see it broke over, and there was a couple failed trades. So that's just something you got to be trying to gauge. Right now, we are in a nice trend, and it's been moving for some time. So if we look at the daily, we got to say, when is this trend over? When is it going to end? And we don't know the answer to that, because this one kept going for 1,200 pips. And so now it's continuing to move. It's almost 1,200 pips, but this current leg isn't. So there's really no way to know predictively what the possibilities are going to be with your trade. So let's take a look at the Euro Australian. Euro Australian is getting a pin bar reversal, and we are at support. Okay, so now I have been taking this short nonstop and loving life for quite some time. But the thing is with this is now we just crossed over. We're sitting on a support level. And so on a very short 1 minute, 15-minute time frame, we're currently on an uptrend, as shocking as that sounds. And I am currently also on a support level. So with those two things in mind, and why do I say it's an uptrend? Well, you know, if you're just new to following me, well, look, this moving average got broke to the upside. This trend got broken. This is just a lower uptrend. It's not a serious one. It's just a very, very small one. But you know what happens with small uptrends? They can turn into big ones. So here's a really cool little support level that we could be watching here, resistance. You see we hit this one. We broke above, and now we're challenging this. So am I telling you that this trend is over and that we're going to see some kind of bounce? It's very possible when you see this solid reversal level. It's very possible. We look at a Fibonacci retracement from the current move down, and you could look, where could it go? It could bounce up to 23.6 or 38.2 and then continue down. So if it did bounce, there's a lot of potential for a bounce move. Absolutely. And if it goes down, it's just going to go right back into this channel that was really behaving nicely before this whole craziness started here recently with all the volatility. Because if you look long term, this has a very nice moving channel. And so it could break this below and start that all over again. We don't know. Oh, and I just got to check my stop loss here because I didn't drag it, so I got to modify my order here. And copy, and there we go. So just want to make sure I have my stop losses always in place. And so there we have it. Okay, so we got our stops in place. Right now we are getting some rejection here. The 15-minute is acting a little crazy. So we'll see what happens with this trade. We never know. But I am interested in this Euro position, Euro Australian. So that's something that we could be looking at as well. Okay. Okay. May the pips be upon everyone. Thank you, guys. So Ariel's actually looking at the pound CAD, so I'm going to pull that one up too, and see what we've got going there. Pound CAD. Pound CAD is in a nice downtrend. Wowie, wowie, wow. Nice. And you can see that when that thing broke the moving average, it didn't really break right away. It popped up, and then it just hung in there, and then it finally took off. But if we look at this on a daily, it is currently testing a daily moving average here, but the momentum is pretty strong. There is a support level here as well. So this is too far outside of my realm to get in, but if you were in this trade, congratulations. That's really good. That's a great setup. So really, definitely, totally love that setup. Euro yen, was looking at that earlier. It's been dropping, moving down nicely. 15-minute is currently just broke below. We currently have 15 pips of movement after it broke. It broke the day low of the day, which is always something that I like to look at as well. See how this broke the low of the day. It's currently testing new lows. It's a nice downtrend. There really isn't any support here for some time. We have a support level down here, and it's actually kind of hard to see because it's so long ago. The last support level was hit on May of 2017. So if we're looking at this trade and we're saying, okay, where can it go? Well, that's where it can go. I actually discussed that I discussed that earlier. I think it was on this U.S. yen when I said, where could this U.S. yen go? And I thought it was here. So there's same with the euro yen. It's just a different pair. I think that both of these pairs could have a potential to move lower. And so it's all about catching the setup. So let's talk about that. Yesterday I was talking about catching some setups on the U.S. yen. Well, what would have been the very best way to do that? It would have been to take a short right here. as this drop below, or one right here. And as you can see, would have been great. So yesterday, as it's popping up, it's moving into this resistance area, would have been an ideal place for a setup. And I hope that some of you guys were able to get a hold of that, because when you get a nice movement like this, that's a really great way to catch a trade. Right now, again, the same thing. It's pushing the lows here today. It's pushing the lows. Where could it go? We know where it can go. And my phone is ringing, so let me get that real quick. All right, so I'm back, and this is definitely a 50 period moving average. I love the 50 period moving average. Somebody was mentioning we talk about the CAD Swiss. Let's take a look at that. I'm currently in a euro dollar trade, and so not sure what's happening there. CAD Swiss is moving up nicely, and it did indeed do what I have been looking at for so long, and it just took longer than what I was hoping. I kept trying to catch this move, and now it moved above this moving average on the daily, so I love this trade. I love it. But again, it's just broke the highs of the day earlier. It broke this daily high, and so for me, we could take this on a daily time frame, but on a lower time frame, it's not wise. Okay, so let me explain that to you guys, give you guys a little bit of some things that I think I've learned to help your trading. So first of all, the reason it's not wise is because on a lower time frame, you can get some stop outs, right? So if you're trying to really tight stop loss, if you're up at the top, it could very likely pull back. Now, if you're trading on a daily time frame, however, you're trading on a daily, well, you're going to put your stop all the way down here, 70 pips away. You got plenty of time, so it's not a big deal. You can handle a pullback, right? And you'll still get a great trade. Whereas on a lower 1 minute, 5 minute time frame, you need to wait for the pullback to happen before you get in. So no, I wouldn't actually take that break up here. I would not. I would actually rather wait, like see down here and a break above the moving average right where we're at right now. This is actually not a bad setup because it has crossed above on the 1 minute. I like the 15-minute pullbacks, but on 1 minute time frames, you got to remember you're just going for really tight stop loss. And so let's look at it. If I was to take it on this break, which I'm a little late, but now I'm right back to the same entry price, my stop loss would only be 3-4 pips, right? So then my target up here at the top for position number 1 would be 4 or 5 pips. So the 1-to-1 is there, and then I can hope for price movement to carry me on even further. But ultimately, a nice pullback back here, a nice 20 pip pullback. You can see a 26 pip pullback, a 20-some pip pullback. Those are ideally what we're looking for when you have a nice strong trend. And the key is, for me, not just to wait until it actually touches, but then wait for it goes below and then crosses back over the moving average. That's how I like to trade these. So that's the main reason I got into this euro, which is now taking me out. Because we had a cross below the moving average and then a cross above, but it didn't materialize. It looks like I'm going to take out here. And as we speak, I'm done. I just lost that trade. So now I'm going to go look for another trade. So let's see what else we can find. That Euro Australian, how's that looking out? Okay, so here right now I already talked about this. This is so overextended on the daily. I am actually starting to get excited about a possible reversal trade here. So if we can get a nice setup, which to me would be a bounce down here and then a shot up or a break above this purple line that I have, that would be a tremendous setup to be looking for. So. I'm just reading the comments. Thanks, Paul, I'm glad you've enjoyed the training and the free strategies. And Kleps just said, where did they say the UJ was going on that call? Yeah, that's actually who I was talking to. I was talking to all the banks, the big, huge banks on the planet, and they were telling me exactly what to do. I'm just kidding. It was actually my wife. And she was telling me what to do. Okay, so the euro yen is dropping lower. Okay, and again, this is a good trade because I really believe that it has some room here to get to this nice support level. If we look at it on a weekly time frame, you can see it's not a. Where was that level? Is this the same level I had? But yeah, right here. You can see that it's right here was where that level is. And so it's not a ton of room down there, but there is some room to get to it. So that's something we could consider. But if we do take it, we want to be aware that that's where it could get shut down at. US yen is currently moving up. If we could get a nice little pullback up here or something like that, a little higher and then a drop below like we got yesterday, might be another great setup in that realm as well. Odd Swiss. Okay, Odd Swiss is looking really nice, I think, for a potential setup. So I'm actually going to take this one. I'm going to take the Odd Swiss because it's breaking right now, and it broke once and failed, and now it's going to try it again. So I'm going to give it a shot here. Okay, so I've got the odd Swiss on now. And Graham is short on the euro yen. That's cool, Graham. It looks pretty decent. I might give this a shot too. Let's see if I have enough trade ability here. I don't think I'm going to have enough to actually break it down into two positions. I'm not, so I'm just going to take one position on this one. Okay, so while we're at it, let's go ahead and I'll give you guys some spreadsheet stuff. 24, what did we lost money on the US Euro USD. $22, 11 and 11. That makes it nice and easy. Okay. So now I'm looking at the Euro Yen and the Euro CAD, or the Aussie Swiss. Now, of course, if the Australian does reverse, then we could get ourselves into a little bit of trouble there, because we were talking about the Euro odd, how it was such a nice support level. This one has moved really nicely as well, but it's not quite at the same level that we were looking at with the other one. So you can see that I gave myself quite a bit of room here on this Aussie Swiss, and so as the price develops, I may decide to move this stop loss a little bit more. If I could get a little upward movement, love to make this risk a little bit smaller. Managing risk is really important on the grand scheme of things. Really important to keep those losses small. And so, sometimes when we're looking at the charts, there's not a whole lot of other things going on. But right now, we're getting a little bit of rejection here. Let's see what the Euro Yen's doing. Same Euro Yen has got a nice looking 15-minute candle, but it's going to be closing in about 4 minutes. So we'll see how that closes. Hopefully, we can get a nice follow through to the downside. But Graham helped me out with sharing that setup. Actually, we all worked on it together, so that's good that I'm getting some good feedback from you guys. It's really actually helpful to me when I can hear from other people, because only got 2 sets of eyes. So more sets of eyes, the better it is. All right, so Euro Yen getting a little bit of movement here. And Danis is looking at the pound dollar. Graham, I actually am trading the 50 period. It's the 50 simple moving average. And the pound is really in a nice down move. I personally am not going to short here because I need a little bit of a pullback. This thing has just done nothing but short. Now, you can get pullbacks on a strong move, and let me explain how that works. So if you've got a really strong move and you think that it's going to keep moving, there's a lot of opportunities to get in, because sometimes a strong move is not going to get the pullback that I like. I like these nice big pullbacks, but that doesn't always happen. So let's take a look at this. So here's one pullback, right here. You see this one? Boom. It's a nice 18 pip pullback. So it's not huge, but it's enough to get you a great new price. You could get in here, get a nice tight stop, and then away it goes. Another pullback was even this little tail here was a nice 7 pip pullback. And then this was a pullback. You can see this pulled back about 12 pips. And then finally we got another pullback right here, a 14 pips. So when you're in a really strong move, you could even get a top of a tail and get in. So now let's look at what this would actually look like on a 1 minute chart. Right, so you can see this is what the pullback looks like on a 1 minute. Boom, right into the moving averages. So when you look at it on a 1 minute chart, I've got a 50 period moving average. That actually helps you see what you're looking at. So then right here, you can see that this pulled back. You could have got in nice 10 pips, and the pound dollar can really move. And then this pullback I was talking about pulled right into the moving averages, held up, and then it had a nice drop. Let's go look at the previous one that I was talking about. So again, here's another pullback. You can see it pops up. So if you're looking on a strong downtrend, you look at a 15-minute chart and you're like, oh man, this thing's really strong. You can always go to a 1 minute chart and try to catch those pullbacks on a 1 minute. Now, the other thing about that is you can keep your stop losses pretty tight, because when you have a tight stop loss, then you can get bigger trade size, and a smaller movement will get you to where you want to go. And it looks like my odd Swiss was retracing a little bit, but now it's bouncing back up. So we'll see how that one plays out. But the Euro Yen has dropped below my short level, and it's moving lower a little bit. All right. Well, yeah, so that closed. It was a little bit lower. So that was a nice strong break, a nice strong close. It looks like it could have some good momentum. The odd Swiss didn't quite have it. It was starting to break, and that's one of the reasons why sometimes we can say we want to get in on a close, but on a 1 minute chart, it doesn't take long to wait for a candle to close. But we are currently in an uptrend here, so that helps me with my market movement when I'm on an uptrend. Okay, well, so just to let everybody know, I'm going to be doing some training today, and so I'm going to jump off of here because I'm going to get prepared and want to make sure that I give the very best presentation I can possibly give. So these are the trades I'm in. You guys can see how I do, and I'll update you when I jump on later how everything worked out. But right now I'm on a Euro Yen and an Australian Swiss. So I'll keep you guys updated on how those trades played out. Okay, all right. Well, thanks a lot, and I appreciate everybody for coming in. Just keep on doing what you guys can to have success, and you guys will do well. All right, that's it for now. We'll see you guys soon. Thank you, everyone.